Hi, it's CT here for My Sacred Blood. Welcome and welcome back to the only channel on YouTube that focuses exclusively on truly holistic menstrual care. If you are watching this from the blog, please do consider joining the mailing list by filling out the form below. And of course, share this video and any other content from the website or from the YouTube channel with at least one person who you feel will benefit from the content. This video is just a quick one about how to know when to replace your reusable menstrual pads. Knowing when to go from this dingy pad to this. And you can tell just by doing a quick side-by-side comparison that one of these pads is just about ready to go. If you do use reusables or reusable menstrual products such as cloth pads, then this is going to be a video for you. A typical reusable cloth pad will last anywhere from 3 to 5 years, typically, depending on the type of materials used or the durability of the material. I find that hemp and bamboo or a hemp bamboo blend do tend to last longer. So I've personally chosen to stick to those. And I can show you just a comparison of the ones that I showed 5 years ago. I do still have them in my drawer. And so I do still use them. And part of the reason why I am able to prolong the life of my reusables is because I do have a variety of reusable menstrual products, and I do mix it up sometimes with disposables, depending if I'm out of the house or if I'm on a vacation or if I'm doing something that, you know, it's a little bit more convenient to use disposables. So part of prolonging the life of your reusables is definitely to mix it up and not to continue just using cloth pads. If you do use only cloth pads alone, then there are ways that you can prolong the life of your pads, and that is to make sure that you're soaking them and washing the blood out of them and just making sure that the blood doesn't have a chance to set or to oxidize. So taking care of them is a big part of helping them to last longer, and just having a lot. So if you only use exclusively cloth pads, then it's recommended that you have at least 24. I would suggest 24, so that you can rotate through them. And if you are going to be using only cloth pads, then it's also, I think, a good idea to learn how to make your own. There are 4 things that you'll want to look out for when you're trying to determine whether or not you should throw out your pads. And that is whether it's worn, whether it's torn, whether it's stained, or whether it stinks. If your pads are worn, that means that you'll find that the blood is seeping through them. And that will look kind of like this one, where the blood has had a chance, even though I have an insert here. And I'll cover some of the blood. I don't want to gross you out with the stains, but it has stained, and it has stained all the way through. And so I know that that pad is not going to do what it's supposed to be doing anymore, and so I don't it's time for that one to go. And so if you're finding that the blood is seeping through to the other side of the pad and it's going all the way through the cloth material, it's either not a good material, it's not absorbent enough, or if it once was and is starting to do that, then that's a sign that it needs to go. Now, whether it's torn, as you see here, this one is about ready to rip. So here you find that the fibers are coming apart, and you kind of are able to see through to the absorbent material. So when you find that the outer layer is starting to tear, that means that eventually the whole thing's going to fall apart anyway, and so it's time to throw that out. And then, of course, if it stains. Now, blood stains are obviously going to happen on a cloth pads. You're going to get them, but there are so many ways to avoid them. I have cloth pads, like I said, that I've had for years that are not stained. In order to maintain the pads and make sure that they don't stain, I would recommend soaking them. So every time you take one off, to wash it or quickly rinse out the blood as much as you can, and then soak it to make sure that it doesn't oxidize and that the blood doesn't have a chance to set. If the blood does have a chance to set, then it will stain. Some people are comfortable using their stain pads. I'm just not, and the reason why I'm not is because it will lead to odors, which is the 4th thing that you want to look out for. In a previous video, I mentioned that you know, it's natural for our vaginas to have an odor. That's all right. But menstrual blood doesn't smell. It doesn't have a distinct odor. If you maybe mix it with water, you'll tend to smell the iron in the blood, maybe, but by itself, if you were to collect menstrual blood in a cup and smell it, you aren't going to smell any kind of, it's not going to have any kind of a strong smell. So if you find that you have an odor, I know that a lot of people associate vaginas with fish, but that's not normal. Your vagina is not supposed to smell like fish or have any kind of strong pungent odor. So if you find that you have an odor, more than likely, it has to do with the products that we use, our menstrual care products or our underwear. And, you know, if you have leakage and you have underwears with stains in them, chances are that's why they tend to smell over time. And the same thing goes for our pads. If you find that you put on the pads, say on day 1, and you immediately have an odor, like I like to be prepared. I know when I'm going to have a period and I put a pad on. If I find that immediately once I put the pad on and it mixes with my body odor and then it creates this smell, it's time to throw out the pad. It's not about my smell. And I would definitely suggest that immediately if you smell any kind of odor, whether it's an underwear or a pad, and it's giving off a smell, that you should probably throw that away. So thanks for watching. I do hope that helps. If you haven't already done so, please do go ahead and subscribe. And remember, I'm here every moon day at noon, and that's Eastern time. Until the next one, take care of yourself.